You already know that $20,000 changes things. Maybe you've read about it. Maybe you felt it yourself. That moment when your bank account stops being a source of dread and starts being a source of options. But here's what nobody tells you about what happens next. $20,000 is not the destination. It is not even close. $20,000 is just the door. And most people walk through that door, feel the relief, and then stop right there. They get comfortable. They protect what they have. They tell themselves they have made it. And that is exactly where they fall behind. Because $50,000 is a completely different game. Not just mathematically, not just on paper, the entire structure of your financial life changes. My name is Adam, MBA, 30 years of real financial experience, and today we're going to talk about exactly why everything changes even more after $50,000. The real version, the one with the actual numbers and the psychology that most financial content completely ignores. Before we go further, I need to address something. Most people treat $50,000 like it is just $20,000 plus $30,000. $20,000 is psychological freedom. It gets your brain out of survival mode. It gives you breathing room. But $50,000 is structural freedom. It changes what money actually does for you. At $20,000, you stop losing. At $50,000, you start genuinely winning. And there is a massive gap between those two things. Every financial video you have ever watched has told you about compound interest. You've heard the Einstein quote, you've seen the charts, you understand the concept intellectually. At $5,000 saved, compound interest is a theory. At $20,000, it starts to feel real. But at $50,000, you actually feel it every single month. At $20,000 invested, earning 8% annually, you are making $1,600 a year, about $133 a month. At $50,000 invested, that same 8% return generates $4,000 a year, $333 every single month flowing into your account while you sleep. $333 a month is a car payment, it's a utility bill, it's a week of groceries for a family. It's real money solving real problems without you lifting a finger. At $100,000, which $50,000 gets you halfway to, that 8% return generates $8,000 a year, $666 every month, automatically. You are not just saving money, you are hiring permanent employees who never call in sick, never ask for a raise, and never stop working. There is a concept in behavioral economics called scarcity mindset. When people feel financially scarce, their effective IQ drops by as much as 13 points. That is the equivalent of losing a full night of sleep every single day. At $50,000, the fear-based decision-making essentially stops, not because you are rich, but because you have enough runway. Think about the last major financial decision you made from a place of desperation. Every single one of those decisions has a cost that never shows up in your bank account, but shows up everywhere else in your life. Study after study on salary negotiation shows the single biggest predictor of how much you earn is how willing you are to walk away. People who negotiate their starting salary earn an average of $5,000 more per year. Over 30 years, that's $150,000 in lost earnings from one conversation. Real estate syndications, where a group of investors pool money to purchase income-producing properties, typically require $25,000 to $50,000 minimum. $50,000 is the threshold where you stop being a financial tourist and start being an actual resident. The financial system is not neutral. It does not treat everyone the same way. When you have no savings, banks charge you more for everything. Overdraft fees, higher interest, worse mortgage terms. But once you cross $50,000, the dynamic inverts. Banks want your business. The entire apparatus becomes a tool you can use. It costs more to be poor than to be rich in America, and that is not an accident. When you're broke or near broke, time is the enemy. Every passing month without financial progress feels like falling further behind. At $50,000, time becomes your most powerful ally. If you invest $50,000 today and never add another dollar, at 7% annually, that becomes $386,000 in 30 years. Compare that to someone who waits 10 years to start. They invest the same $50,000 but only have 20 years. Their result? $193,000, half as much. Before $50,000, your entire strategy is built on one equation. You trade your time for money. After $50,000, a second equation becomes available to you. You can trade money for time. At $50,000, your money is generating $333 a month. That is not enough to retire, but it is enough to start outsourcing things that drain your time. The stretch between $20,000 and $50,000 is the most psychologically dangerous stretch of the entire wealth building journey. Not the beginning, when you have nothing and everything feels impossible. Not the end. The middle. That is where most people quietly give up. $20,000 is comfortable, and comfortable is the enemy of wealthy. The people who make it past $50,000 are the people who understood comfort at $20,000 is a trap. The work is not done. The next $30,000 is the most important $30,000 you will ever save because of what it unlocks on the other side. Let me leave you with the only number that actually matters right now. It is not your current balance. It is the distance between where you are today and $50,000. Keep the gap open. Protect what you have built. Let the money work. And do not mistake relief for arrival. $20,000 stopped the bleeding. $50,000 starts the winning. And everything we talked about today, the compound interest that becomes real, the fear-based decisions that stop, the earning potential that rises, the investments you can now access, the financial system that flips in your favor, the time that becomes your ally. All of it is waiting on the other side of that number. Your golden ending does not happen by accident. It happens because of decisions you make right now, today. So make one decision, one move, today. If this video changed how you think about where you're going, subscribe. New video every week. And drop a comment telling me where you are right now on this journey. I read every single one and I respond to as many as I can. See you next week.